Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars with a pretty sweet 1966 Chevrolet C-10. This has got a pretty hot rod build under the hood. Previous owner spent over $7,000 just building the drivetrain. So we're going to take it for a quick spin. And I wish I wasn't in my neighborhood because I'd really get on it, but I got one neighbor that lives down here that just doesn't like the sound of a loud engine when I drive by. She's right there. So, this thing hauls butt. We'll get on it again here in just a sec. She's still warming up. Truck steers perfect. It does not have power steering, but it steers real easy. It does have power disc brakes. Stop nice and straight. I mean, not touching the steering wheel. Heading down a little tiny hill there, but let's see if I can get in the sun. One last drop of sun over here to do this video before the shade comes in. Aggressive exhaust. I mean, this motor's damn hot. Opens easily with one hand. Got a little right up here on the engine. So it's a 355, of course, been bored out, and it's got the Edelbrock intake, Edelbrock aluminum heads. It's got a scat pack bottom end on it. It's bored 30 over, of course, 4-bolt main. It's got that air gap intake. That's what that Edelbrock air gap intake. It's got a 800 Holley double pump performer. It's a roller rockers, all roller engine. It's got a Cook's high performance turbo 350 automatic transmission with a 350 stall, 373 gears, roller rockers, roller cams, forged pistons, all that jazz. So anyways, like I said, they spent a bunch of money on it. Putting it together to be, you know, a hot rod truck. So my battery light is flashing. I hope it lasts me about 5 more minutes. So I'm going to try not to go too fast on this, but at the same time, so front of the hood, all of the hood looks really good. Underneath, there's a few little rust spots on this truck, and I've a few bubbles here in the front on both sides. These are pretty common spots, and really this is probably poor prepping on the on behalf of the painter. It looks like the guy who painted this truck he laid down a great paint job, but I don't think he did a good job with the body work ahead of time. This is a minimal rust truck, but it had a couple of spots, and it was probably treated like a lot of trucks like this, where you get you put a little bit of Bondo in there and you go along with it. I don't think it's a Bondo bucket, you know, all filled up with Bondo. But all that being said, if this was my truck, and everybody does different things, but if this is my truck, I'd go backwards with it. I'd turn this thing into like a badass hot rod, rat rod style truck. I'd scuff this whole thing down and you know, wire wheel the rust out of the few spots that you see it, you know, and then shoot it in a hot rod black or a hot rod blue or something, or maybe even a hot rod color like this, like flatted out, matted out, and maybe drop it 2 inches and call it done. Not a very expensive thing to do. It's mostly labor, and you get those hot rod black or hot rod paint shop kits online for about 250 bucks and shoot it yourself, and they come out looking super nice. So that's probably what I would do, but you know, it wouldn't take much for a painter to match this color and fix the few spots that need to be fixed. I want to get right up on it. The body lines are really straight on the truck, so it deserves to be fixed if that's what you'd want to do with it. It's got a spot here where you can tell that the door, you know, flipped around. That's not unusual. I've got two other trucks with that exact same spot, 64 and a 66 C-10. So of course then it rusted out a little bit there. A couple little spots on the bottom of the door. Cab corners are nice and solid. Sides of the bed are good. There's a little paint pop here, and on the other side there's one that's worse. This fender looks pretty good. This is an older paint job. You know, this truck has been driven, and you know, they've peeled out these tires with this engine, and supposedly, in looking at it, I think it's accurate. There's only about 2,000 miles on this engine. So a few spots here where you can see the color underneath. I almost wish it was that color. It's like that emerald green. I've got a 55 Chevy truck right now that's that emerald green. Nice straight body over here as well. Spot where got scrape pulling in the garage. This is probably the worst spot here. Definitely somebody put some Bondo on this right here, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's a hole there and they thought they'd fill it. I don't know what somebody was thinking when they did that. Couple rust bubbles down here. Same here. Bottom there. And like I said, that's why for me, going backwards with the paint, I don't know. I like to think about what looks cool and is affordable. And that's part of what we do at Peachtree Classic Cars is, you know, driver quality restorations under 20 grand. And I look for value. Whenever I find things like this, I look for the value in it. To me, the value would not be so much to try to save this paint job as maybe blast it down and mat it out. But to somebody else, the value may be to scuff it up and reshoot it, and you do this exact same color. It's got these really cool, this is a ostrich and alligator skin seats. This is a very expensive way to do this, and I don't know what vehicle these are out of. It's got this center console that I'm not into. I would just pull it out. If it was me, I'd pull that out, maybe do a nice custom ostrich skin center console and call it a day. But these are brand new covered. They're not old. They're in great shape. Matching door panels. Again, something that to me gives it a really cool hot rod look. So it's got had a CD player in it, and apparently they were pretty attached to their stereo, so they took it out. The previous owner did. I bought a brand new one. It's a brand spanking new full kit with a brand new Bluetooth CD player, Pandora, iTunes, all that, and the speakers to go in it. So that's going to go with the truck. Doors open and close nicely. Windows roll open up and down nice. There's some amateur window tint on these windows that could just be peeled off. The windshield is in good shape. I believe the wipers are working. Let's check and see. Yeah, wipers work. They're slow, but they're working. Like I said, now this is the other thing I'm not into, and it, you know, for $65 you have a piece of glass cut and replace this. It's got this little, you know, old school slider from the 80s. So the weather stripping is in great shape. I think you could pull this out, pay a glass guy $65, put a new piece of glass in here and get rid of that, and I would. Top is in great shape. Drip rails in good shape, no rust. It's got a diamond plate in the bed. Like I said, I'm praying for my battery to last here. So this is the speedometer cable. Of course, they put a high performance transmission in it, and they did not hook the speedometer cable back up, probably because the gearing is wrong. I think that the truck deserves, I mean, you can see underneath here, nice and clean, you know, a couple little spots of paint peeling up, but you know, they make a factory carpet kit to put back in this truck, and I would do that too. The interior on it's good, and I actually like the color. Like I said, if you did a hot rod black on the outside, you could leave the interior completely alone because everything matches with black. So, but like I said, I've said it a couple times already, you know, to each his own. This was the value in the truck for me right here. Underneath this truck looks freaking awesome. Rockers are in great shape. I haven't seen any rust underneath this truck. Floor pans, all original floor pans in great condition. The frame rails are solid. All the mounts are solid. The underneath on the other side looks just as good. Inside, the fender wells, I mean, this is underneath this truck is to me where it counts. You know, fixing body rust, little spots of body rust on the bed, all that to me is not a big deal. It's got an oversized rear end cover on it, which is kind of cool. Just want to show in here. To me, like I was saying just a minute ago, this is to me where it counts the most. I'm looking at, is it rusty underneath? Because metal work can be done on the body cheap. You can buy patch panels from LMC. They weld in very inexpensive if you have a fairly priced welder. I mean, look at the underneath of this truck. Those are the original cab corners. Looks fantastic. Absolutely beautiful all the way around. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that it has long tube headers. Got great rubber on the tires. Man, the more I'm looking at this truck, the more I like it. Really, really clean. I could take literally two full days, maybe 3 full days in the shop, and man, this truck, we'd have this truck looking freaking bonkers. It would look awesome. But so there you have it, 1966 Chevy C-10. PeachTreeClassicCars.com. This is a really cool one, and I didn't say this earlier, but I think it goes without saying, this truck's ready to drive as is. I mean, it's running, driving, all the way ready to go. Like I said, almost $7,000 just in the drivetrain alone. This truck is ready to rock and roll. The lights work. It does not have the turn signal switch on the side of the column. Other than that, lights work, everything else works, wipers work. This thing's ready to enjoy now, and I'm calling this an easy project for somebody to figure out what they want to do with it, take it to the next level.